All right, my name is Nicholas, and I'm going to talk about my personal project, which is called the Three Landscapes. So, with the program I used is called Unreal Engine 4. So, the main quirks about this is that the rendering is in real time, and so you can see the shadows and how the product will mostly look like while using the software, which I find really interesting and cool. And so when you start a project, it'll look like this. It's like a blank, like straight panel, and there's different lights, sunlight, player camera, and all that. So for me, I used the my global context is personal and cultural expression. I chose this since it could give me more flexibility and and let me work on however I wanted it to like work and show what I wanted and do what I would want instead of like being more specific but more boring for me. So for you to start like your own landscape, there's a mode called landscape, and then it'll show you this grid, this green grid, which is like what what the terrain will hold. And so you can choose how many squares will be in each quadrant and the size of each quadrant per square box. So you can make it long, thin, with less squares, more squares. It all depends on which is your taste and what you want specifically. So then after you complete that, there's in modes that are landscapes, there's the sculpting. So you can sculpt the location and like the mountains or valleys or whatever you want. This is just simply just left clicking, and there's also strength, which is how hard and how much you have to hold down for them to be like big big mountains or big inclines. And then there's radius, which is the size, and then the fall off, which is how much do you want it to be concentrated or how much you want it to be dispersed all around that circle of your size. And so, and to delete, you just have to press shift and then left click, and then it'll do like an incave. So you can do more like rivers and or valleys or whatever. So for this, I use some help from the free projects that people make for other people in Unreal Engine, specifically the Open World Demo Collection and the Temperate Vegetation Spruce. I use the Temperate Vegetation Spruce mainly for just the textures and the grass as well. And then Open World Demo, I used it for the trees and and the rocks and boulders. So to make a multi-layered texture is like simple. You have to put layer blend and then add each layer, like middle layer of grass, which is like the lower level, mid level, which would be like mud, and the higher level, which would be rock. And so each of these is a texture. So this would be grass, this is gonna be mud, and this is gonna be rock. And this is like the chrome that connects it all together. And then this is what it'll look like. So you have and then so you can paint it on to the landscape. And so as you can see over there in the distance, there's the rock, and then there's some mud, and then here's the grass right there. And these are some of the models I used from these two, mostly the temperate vegetation and and the open world. For the stump, it was temperate, and then for the rocks, I'm pretty sure it was open world. So yeah, here's the grass. So you have to use another mode called forage, and you can just drag it in, and then you can put it, and so it shows you the strength, the size you want it, and the density, or like how much of that single item do you want it to be spread all around that circle. And then sadly, I couldn't do it. I put too many trees, and then it just my computer was two of those specs, and so I had to make it all over again. And this is my ending product. And then here is the a video I put and I created with this software. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.